Welcome back to Cooking with Glenn and Katie. Today is a very special day because we want to introduce to you my son and Dad's 5th grandchild, Lincoln. Lincoln is almost 6 months old at the time of filming, and he's going to be joining us today as we cook the recipe. Dad, would you mind sharing a little bit more about what we're cooking today?
Yeah, when you were in the hospital, I couldn't go. And it drove me crazy because of the COVID rules.
Yes.
And so you wanted to have a cinnamon twist bread. And so I've been working on that. And I made that because I was going to have it for you when you got home from the hospital, or if I could sneak it up there or have Ray take it up there. And this is it. And it looked like a Lincoln log that was all twisted up. Yeah. And so I named it Cinnamon Twist Lincoln Log.
So while I was in the hospital with this little guy, Dad was baking up a storm, and he graciously froze that loaf so that we could try it and enjoy it. But we cannot wait to share the recipe with you today. It's absolutely delicious. So are you ready to get started?
I am.
All right, let's go.
Let's go. To start, I'm going to add 1 1/3 cups of warm water. I put this in the microwave for 1 minute, but it needs to be between 90 and 115 degrees. Next, I'm going to add 5 teaspoons of sugar. And to that, I'm adding 1 tablespoon of yeast. This is instant yeast. Stir it in, and I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. It's been 10 minutes. Look at all the carbon dioxide bubbles. I will add some oil, 1 tablespoon of oil. And next, I'll be adding 3 1/2 cups of bread flour. And finally, I'm going to sprinkle on top 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. And now I'm going to mix this together. I'll start this on low until things have started to mix in together. And in about 30 seconds to a minute, I'll turn it on the next higher level speed, and I will set it for 8 minutes. The dough is perfect this time. It's not sticky. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. If it sticks on the side of the bowl or the bottom of the bowl, you just add 1 teaspoon of flour and let it knead it a little bit more, and then you may need to add a little bit more until it's like this. I took the dough and I divided it into 2 pieces, and I made those pieces rectangles, so about 4 inches by 8 inches, and I put them in the oven, and they're rising right now. But I need to make the insides of what will go into this cinnamon twist Lincoln log. So let me show you. Let's get started. The first thing I did was to mix 1/2 stick of butter, which is 4 tablespoons, with 1 teaspoon of vanilla flavoring. Now we'll mix the goodie that will go into the cinnamon twist Lincoln log. This is 1 cup of light brown sugar, and into it I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. and I'll mix this all together. And once it's mixed together, since I'm going to be making 2 logs, I'll divide this into half. I need to put 1/2 of it on one Cinnamon Twist Lincoln log and the other half in the other. I just took the 2 loaves out after rising for 20 minutes and they've doubled in size. So I'm going to take them off and I'm going to put it on a floured sheet here. I'm going to flour it real well. And I'm just going to lift this up and I'm going to move it onto the board here. I'll do both of these the same way. I'll put a lot of flour because you don't want it sticky. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press it out all the way so you can stretch it out, and it's going to be 16 to 18 inches long and 12 inches wide, and that's what this sheet is. It's 18 inches, so I'm going to stretch it and fill this whole area up. You can use a rolling pin. I like to do that. Makes it a little bit easier, but either way, you just want to stretch it out so it fills up this whole sheet here. I stretched the dough all the way around. I put plenty of flour on the bottom because I'm going to be rolling it up, so I don't want it to stick too much to the plastic below. And now I'm going to put a thin layer, and again I'm stressing thin layer of butter on the top of this. I'm going to go all the way around it. This butter has the vanilla flavoring in it. That's one way I can get vanilla flavoring into the dough here. I just finished covering this with a thin layer of butter. I used about half of it, so I'll use this other on the other one, but if I've got leftovers, I'm not gonna put it on here. This is a brown sugar mixture. This is half of it, so I'm just gonna go and sprinkle it on here, all the way across. Okay, I'm gonna sprinkle this all the way over. I don't need to get too close to the sides because as I roll it, it will go to the sides. So I put this in like this, and then once I have it all on here, I'm going to spread it out evenly and I'm going to pat it down with my hands to make sure it sticks. Now I'm going to roll this up. I'm going to be rolling from the 12-inch side. So I'll just kind of put this over here, and then I'll just keep on rolling. It will make a 12-inch log. And now I'm going to pinch this together here. I'm pinching the seam together to make sure this cinnamon stays in. I'll push it up like that. And there's one of the logs here. So I'm going to let this one set until I get the other log completed. So I'm going to sit over to the side. On this Cinnamon Twist Lincoln log, I'm going to put some ants in it. And so I've got some raisins here, and I'm going to sprinkle some raisins. So I tell the kids these are ants that are getting into the log. You can use more or less, but I find that a 1/4 of a cup is about right. So there we go. They'll be kind of through there. So I'm going to start rolling this. The first thing I do is put this first little piece like that, and then I will start rolling all the way up. Like this. And now I'm going to pinch the ends right here closed like that. And the seam, I'm going to pinch the seam. That way the sugar does not get out. I push this together, and there's the Lincoln log. Kind of squeeze it like that. So I'm going to set it over to the side, and I'm going to start working with the first one. I've greased the pan with some butter, and now I'm going to cut this Lincoln log in half. And I'm going to face it up where you've got all these different layers facing up so you can see the cinnamon. So you want to put it side by side because we're going to kind of twist it all together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze these two ends here so they're kind of connected. Then I'm going to take this piece here and put it over here. Then I'm going to take this piece right here and put it over here. And then finally, I'm going to put this piece over here like that. And then like I did on this other side, I'm going to squeeze this together. And in one move, I'm going to move this into the pan and kind of spread it out into the pan like this. And I'll put it in the oven to rise for 20 minutes before we bake it. With the cinnamon twist Lincoln log, I found that a lot of people like some butter on it. So I'm going to show you how I make some cinnamon butter. First thing I do is I get some butter, and I don't melt it all the way down because you want it to mix in with all the other ingredients. And so there it is, it's melted a little bit. This is the way you want it to be. You don't want it to be all the way melted. Now I'm going to put a teaspoon of cinnamon in here. And I'm going to put a teaspoon of vanilla flavoring. And then I'm going to put a little bit of this powdered sugar. This is 1/3 cup of powdered sugar. Put this in here. I'm going to mix it, and then I'll mix a little bit more. You can put more or less powdered sugar depending on how sweet it is, but I found that the family likes it about 1/3 cup. And since I didn't melt the butter all the way, it's going to be spreadable. You don't have to wait for it to get hard in the refrigerator or anything. So it's ready to go once I get it mixed in. I finished mixing the cinnamon butter. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator, and when it's time to eat, I'll take it out and we'll spread it on pieces of the cinnamon twist Lincoln log. I took the cinnamon twist Lincoln logs out of the oven after the second rise. Let's look at them. They've risen, and when I put them back in the oven for the bake, they'll rise all the way to the top of the pan. Now I'm going to take this coarse ground granulated sugar, and I'm going to sprinkle on top of the two Lincoln logs. I've got 2 tablespoons, so I'm going to put 1 tablespoon on each log. I preheated the oven to 350 degrees, and now I'm going to put these into the oven for 30 minutes. I just took the cinnamon twist Lincoln logs out of the oven. Let's look at them. They are so beautiful. They have risen above the top of the pan, and you can see the raisins on the raisin one. Just perfect. And I'll use a knife to go around the sides to make sure they easily release when I turn them over. Now I'm going to try the ant-infested cinnamon twist Lincoln log. Let's look at it. It's beautiful. And I'm gonna cut a piece right here. You can see how pretty that is. Look at it. It's really beautiful. Now, I'm gonna be like my grandkids. I'm gonna put some of this cinnamon butter on it. Look how creamy that is. I put it in the refrigerator just a little bit of time to solidify it. It spreads beautifully. When you take the pans out of the oven, let them sit for 10 minutes to let some of the goo solidify a little bit before you take them out of the pan. And also look how the top, we put that coarse ground granulated sugar in on here. Look how beautiful it is. It makes a crunchy top, and people love that. Now, this is my piece. I've got butter on it, and now I'm gonna do the taste test. Wow, sticky and good. You got a piece of the raisin there. Wow. Excellent. It's ooey and gooey and crunchy. Perfect bread. Everybody's gonna love it. You gotta try it.
Thank you so much for watching today and for letting us introduce Lincoln to you, as well as this delicious recipe. Oh, you looking at Bob? And if you haven't subscribed, please be sure to do so. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you're updated on all of our new videos. And if you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give us a thumbs up, comment below. We'd love to hear from you. And we will see you guys with our next video. See ya.